Hey guys, it's Jason over at Kaiser Willys, and today I want to talk about sending units. You guys have seen me talk about some of these in the past with wiring and how to check them, make sure that they're operating properly, the fuel gauge is operating properly. But I do want to talk about something that does happen sometimes, and that's the arm is actually going to get kind of stuck in, say, the full position. So with gravity, this should, as the gas tank start, you see my hand is completely out of the way of this sending unit arm. So with gravity, this should fall, and it's not. Okay, so sometimes guys will get in and they'll say that they've hooked everything up electrically. Their gauge always reads full. Their gauge always reads empty, kind of whatever. But one of these commonly asked questions that we get, something that I've had to deal with on my own CJ-2A before. This back plate comes off, and I'm going to show you what this arm looks like on the inside of this sending unit. So all you really need is just a Phillips head screwdriver, and I'll pop these screws off and we'll pull the arm out and I'll show you what it looks like. All right, so now that I've got these screws off, this little back plate comes out, and this is what you have. I'm going to call this a finger. I don't know how to describe it any different, but you can see it's got this angled piece right here. So what's happening is on the inside of this sending unit, you've got you can't see this, but there's a little board in here with a coiled wire along that. And what happens is this finger goes in here and it pushes up against it. And that's how it's changing the resistance, thus changing the level of the fuel electrically. So this is not an electrical piece by itself, but it's just a transmission device to then transmit its operation based off of where the arm is. So let's say that your sending unit is just stuck in the full position. You know you've emptied the gas, or it's just not operating properly. This is something that could be checked to make sure that it's not getting stuck. So in this particular situation, that arm was not able to swoop down by gravity, which would be your tank running out of gas. So it means it's got too much pressure on this finger up against that resistance board. So what you do is you just take this and kind of bend it back a little bit more straight. And sometimes until you get that perfect happy medium, you see I changed that degree. It's not quite as sharp. So what I'll do is I'll be able to put this back in, and you will hear the scraping still. That's what you want, but you don't want it so much that it'll just hinder the arm's ability to swoop. So then you'll take your back plate, slip it back into place, and then you'll run these screws in. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the screws in. I'm gonna flip it over and see if that changes anything with how that arm was falling. All right, so now that we've got these screws back tight, when I flip this over, you'll see this arm, I'm keeping my finger underneath it, and it drops all the way down with gravity. You can still hear the scraping, so you know that your resistance the board is still making contact with the finger, and now your arm swoops the way that it's supposed to. So I just wanted to show you guys just a little something to, a head scratcher moment, something that you haven't thought of that might be causing you an issue with that fuel gauge and the fuel level, because you know that you've got plenty of gas in there, or you know that you've been running this and it still says full. I'd hate to have you guys have a full tank of gas reading on the gauge, and then turns out you're broke down on the side of the road because your tank's empty. So one more thing for you guys to think about when it comes to these fuel gauges in the sending units. So I hope that little trick or that little tip kind of helps. Thanks for watching, guys.